welcome to Sound and Communications Viewpoint. I'm Todd Hutchins of Verrex, here today with Trimble from Mancini Duffy Architects. We're discussing the relationship of integrators and architects as it relates to the audiovisual industry. Lee, can you tell me a little about the evolution of the architectural and integrator relationship?
I think the relationship has followed the general construction industry trend, which has been from a more or less adversarial relationship more towards partnering and cooperation. 20 years ago, there was definitely our side of the table, your side of the table, and to a more or less degree, I see the two sides coming together, realizing that there are common goals that we're trying to realize for our client, and that cooperation and working closely together is the way to achieve those goals.
Do you feel that the CSI and some of the movements towards establishing an audiovisual section of the CSI has helped in that at all?
Well, I think the CSI's new format, which has AV as a separate division, is helpful in that it clarifies the position of AV in the overall construction specification. Earlier, it was rolled into the electrical division, Division 16, and I think there was an opportunity for there to be inconsistencies and areas of disagreement. Right. Typically, low voltage wiring was one where both the electrician and the integrator were claiming the work, and I think there was an opportunity for disagreements there.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was maybe a little cloudy in terms of responsibility at that time, but now with this movement forward, with each of us having a clear defined role, at least within the CSI, I think it works a little bit better in terms of establishing all of our roles.
And I think that will go start to clarify itself even more as the architects and engineers that we're working with start to use the new format more. I think our industry has been a little slow to adopt the new 40 division format. So I was not surprised to see survey results where a great deal, I think it was 75% of integrators weren't really familiar with the new format. That's going to change with time. The construction industry is very traditional, very conservative, and anything that's new takes time to be adopted.
All right. No, I understand. As it relates to the relationship, what are some of the trials and the issues that you see as audiovisual relates to architecture and how the two can kind of work together?
Well, I think it's important that an integrator and audio-visual is brought in early into the design process. There are a lot of aspects that, frankly, as architects, we're not really adept at knowing the technical requirements of audio-visual, so that if left to our own devices for too long, we'll design spaces that really don't support the technology that's going to be brought in. Right. Very recent, well, we had just a few days ago, I pulled you into a situation where we had a 500-seat auditorium, and my designers were working without a knowledge of how far the screen and the image visibility would impact the overall seating arrangement. So having you there and being able to have a quick 5-minute conversation saved us hours of redesign work because they were definitely going in a different direction.
Well, certainly it's all about timing. And I know that as integrators, we want to be there early. We want to be there probably earlier than maybe the architects and the other people on the team want us there. But our goal is to try to be in as early as possible. And sometimes as integrators, we almost feel that it's too late. And do you see your role as an architect being able to bring us in earlier, maybe forcing the hand of the client a little bit?
Well, you always seem to think you're coming in too late. But it depends on the project situation. For a typical corporate, maybe a small conference room, where the driver is not the audio-visual, there can be some delay, or that integration can be pushed out a little bit. Where it becomes vital is where the audio-visual is the primary reason for the room to exist. Conference centers immediately come to mind, where the room and the technology really have to be integrated for a successful project. And in there, I agree with you. You can't bring the integrator in early enough into the process.
We're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back in just a minute.
The Crestron MPS integrates 5 separate AV components into a single rack-mountable package. MPS brings a complete presentation control and signal routing solution to boardrooms, classrooms, and auditoriums. MPS works right out of the box and may be controlled directly from the front panel. MPS from Crestron.